presented by the 2018 Honda Civic Type R, like no Honda you've ever seen.
Welcome to Rogers Center on a beautiful night as the Braves and the Blue Jays will play a short two-game series here. CN Tower standing tall above the open-air stadium tonight. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Brian Snitker's Atlanta Braves. They are in first place by 3.5 games over the Washington Nationals. Freddie Freeman, their terrific first baseman, probably the leading candidate for the National League MVP at the time. He's faced Jaime Garcia in the past and has a couple of home runs. And Nick Markakis, a long-time Oriole, having a tremendous start to his season, possibly playing his first All-Star game after 13 seasons.
He's driven in 44 runs already this season. They will face Jaime Garcia, making his 13th start of the season. He needs a good one. He is winless in 9 straight starts. He has not won since April the 17th. That was versus Kansas City right here. But he's very familiar with the Braves. He made 18 starts with Atlanta in 2017 after being traded from St. Louis in the previous offseason. So the Blue Jays trying to build on what has been a very good homestand so far.
Leadoff man is the second baseman, Ozzie Albies. Albies, a terrific all-around player, having a great start to his season. Garcia misses with the first pitch upstairs for ball one.
He's not real tall, listed at about 5'8", so that strike zone's about the size of a postage stamp. So you got to get that ball in there, and he's got outstanding power. He's already had 3 leadoff home runs this season.
21 years old. He was born in Willemstad, Curaçao. Now makes his home in Orlando. Garcia gets ahead with another fastball. It's 1-2. As Pat mentioned, Garcia is winless in his last 9 starts. Needs to turn things around. He's 0-5 over those starts.
Last time out, just 5 innings at Tampa Bay. Couldn't find the strike zone.
Just away now. It's 2-2.
4s were wild in that start down in Tampa Bay. 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts in 5 innings for Jaime.
There are 101 pitches and only 57 strikes. Garcia is set. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Albies. On the ground. Diaz from the hole fires. Dug out by Smoke. Nice play on both ends. One away. Aledmus Diaz has been terrific at shortstop. He makes a nice play to retire the leadoff man.
Backhands, he knows Albies can run, so he's got to throw it on the run, but there's the big guy over there at first base to pick it. Justin Smoke was off on Sunday. He's helping out his starter Jaime Garcia with a good play.
One away. Number 2 hitter is Dansby Swanson. Swanson batting .255, 6 homers and 25 driven in. Well, Garcia, that's been a problem for him pitching from behind most of the season. He jumps ahead of Swanson. There are the numbers for the shortstop.
He is up there swinging. In 56 games, he's walked 15 times. He is not up there worrying about on-base percentage. He is up there to try and hit the ball wherever it's pitched.
As you mentioned, he struggled lately with no walks over his last 7 games, just 4 for his last 28.
Hitting in front of Freddie Freeman, you would think that they would pitch to him, that he would have plenty of pitches to hit.
He was on the DL for a couple of weeks early in May with a battle with wrist inflammation. Just a short 2-game series, and they will meet up again down in Atlanta later on this summer. Atlanta 3.5 games ahead of the Washington Nationals in the National League East.
And they can thank the Toronto Blue Jays for that.
There were a lot of people down in that Braves dugout mentioned that exactly. Brian Snitker in the middle of your screen, the manager's done a terrific job with this team. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They've got good young players, and they've got some key veteran players. 42-29. Garcia with a 2-2 count. Here's the offering to Swanson in the dirt.
Both of those two pitches right there were changeups. They're supposed to be changeups, and he spiked both of them. That is a big pitch for him. In that last start in Tampa Bay, he threw fewer changeups than he has in the past. He threw more fastballs. But whenever you talk to the Blue Jay catchers, they all say his changeup is important. He's got to be able to get it over for strikes.
Popped up into the outfield. Devin Travis, the second baseman, calls for it, makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down for the Blue Jays. Let's take a look at the defense in the outfield. Hernandez, Pilar, and Grichuk. And over at first base, steady hands and Justin Smoke.
He's already had an effect already on tonight's ball game over at first base. Mentioned that he was off on Sunday. They wanted to give him a few days off, get that bat going once again. Kendrys Morales played first base on Sunday. Smokey back in there, and he's already has had an effect on this game.
Here is Freddie Freeman. He is second in batting in the National League at .337. Garcia's high fastball has been effective early in this game.
Keep throwing it. I think you have to establish that fastball. His ball moves all over the place. And I've talked to Luke Maley in the past about how do you catch him? Do you set up on the corners? Do you set up in the middle? He says his ball moves so much. For the most part, I'm going to set up in the middle of the plate and see how, if as the game goes along, he can start hitting the corners.
Freeman hits it on the ground. Travis from the outfield. Good inning for Jaime Garcia. 3 up, 3 down. No problems. When we come back, the 20-year-old right-hander from Calgary, Mike Soroka, will take the mound for Atlanta. To make it 8 in a row tonight. Here's the lineup for John Gibbons as they close in on 500, just 5 games under. Ledmus Diaz. His career numbers against Atlanta very good. 11 for 21 with 4 extra base hits and 9 RBIs. And Devin Travis, boy, he has really had a run against the National League. He's 8 for his last 13 in interleague play this season.
Liking what he is seeing from the National League East pitchers. Mike Soroka, here he is, 4 starts this season. This is just his 5th big league start. Made his major league debut on May the 1st. That was at New York versus the Mets. Sterling numbers so far in those 4 starts. Selected with the 28th overall pick in the 2015 draft by the Atlanta Braves. You know who picked 29? The Toronto Blue Jays. It was that close pitching for the Jays, but I'll tell you what, he has just come straight to the big leagues. One of the reasons why is because he's not afraid to throw strikes.
Began his season in AAA, and then, as Pat mentioned, got promoted on the 1st of May. Won his first big league game. Granderson takes one outside. Curtis now with a 2-1 count. Curtis hitting .248 for the season. Fastball fouled back. Soroka is the youngest pitcher in the majors. He won't turn 21 until August. And he looks even younger than that.
Yeah.
Line drive left field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Charlie Culberson over to cut it off. Granderson's headed for second. Here's the throw. It's not in time. A leadoff double for Curtis Granderson, his 11th double of the season.
I think the left-handed batters of the Blue Jays are going to have that type of approach tonight against Mike Soroka, because he's got a great hard sinking fastball. If you try and pull it, you're going to pull it right down into the ground. Curtis stayed right with that ball. Watch him stay down and just slash that ball the other way. Culberson, a super utility type of player, just comes up short at second base. That's a great approach right there by Curtis Granderson.
Good way to start the ball game. Now Justin Smoke batting in the 2-hole. He goes after the first pitch and lines it to left field. Culberson will make the catch. Granderson has to hold at second. The Braves for the season have committed just 36 errors. They've got a very good defensive team anchored in center by Inciarte, and they too have a very good first baseman.
He has started every game for the Braves at first base this season. So he has the most innings at first base in the National League. He's a Gold Glove caliber type of defensive first baseman. He's a big target. He's 6'5" over there with long arms. He's a good one.
Freddie Freeman, a rock-solid cornerstone player for the Atlanta Braves. Here is Teoscar Hernandez. We mentioned Hernandez at the first of back-to-back home runs in the 8th inning on Sunday that keyed that series finale win. 12 home runs for the season. High slider for a strike. It's 0-2.
Fastball is a sinking type of fastball, and he's got a very good slider and an occasional changeup. The thing that's impressive about him is he throws them all in the strike zone whenever he needs to.
There's the aspect that we've heard a lot about of Soroka, the mature, calm confidence after giving up the leadoff double. Gets a fly ball and a strikeout. He's just an out away from getting out of it.
Not showing any type of emotion. Chuck Hernandez was his pitching coach down in the minor leagues, and he was telling me today that they really worked on the four-seam fastball so he could reach out there and finish off his pitches. It's a great combination to go along with that hard sinking fastball that he has. Watch that four-seamer also.
This is Yanez Solarte, the third baseman. He takes that slider down and in for ball one.
There's Chuck. He's had some good young pitchers to work with in his coaching career.
Been a great coach for a long time. A good run in Tampa Bay. Changeup popped in the air down the third base line. Long run for Camargo. He won't get it.
Chuck was saying the maturity of a kid just 20 years old at the major league level. He's not afraid to challenge the hitters. He's not afraid to throw the ball over. A lot of times you'll see young kids come to the big leagues and think they have to be perfect to get outs. He'll challenge them. His bread and butter is that two-seam fastball, of course, and a good hard breaking ball.
Ball and a strike, 2 outs. Granderson still at second base. That's inside for ball 2. Up and away. Kevin Pillar is on deck. It's a 3-1 count to Solarte. Curtis Granderson led it off with a double. He's still at second base. Changeup missed downstairs, ball 4.
I think he wanted to rather face Pillar with a couple of runners on than Solarte at second base, so he ends up walking him. Basically, it's fastball, slider, changeup from Soroka. The fastball's got some movement, but they worked on the four-seam fastball in their minor leagues. They said, you're not getting to the big leagues until you can command that fastball, four-seam, and a changeup. You have to have that changeup to go along with your other pitches, and they worked very hard on it for a couple of years in the minor leagues. They gave him a lot of innings in the minor leagues as a young kid, but he's been able to handle it physically.
Comes right back with the first pitch strike to Kevin Pillar. Kevin 2 for 12 on this current homestand. There's a double and an RBI. Had a double on Sunday. It snapped a long drought without hitting a double. That gets away from the catcher. The runners are going to move up. It looked like a changeup, and I'm not sure if he got crossed up or what, but he's talking to Soroka. That could be a pass ball, and it's a catchable pitch. It is the changeup, and hit right off the webbing of his glove. That'll be the fourth pass ball charged to the catcher. So now there are two in scoring position for Kevin Pillar. Ball on a strike. Slider outside. Boy, those extra 90 feet, you really have to cash in and take advantage of that, giving you an opportunity to get an early lead.
Yeah, it just gets something into the outfield. Just something will cash both of those runners in. When you're facing a team that's in first place like the Braves, you got to take advantage of every mistake.
Well, he comes back with a changeup on a 2-1 pitch, again showing advanced maturity for a young pitcher.
Hey, guys who are 20 years old in the major leagues are here for a reason. You know, it's not a fluke that a guy like this, that got the talent, got the size of a starting pitcher, but he's got that it factor, we call it. He's got the look.
Breaking ball high and deep. Left field, this ball is caught by Charlie Culberson. He's got it in his glove, and that'll save 2 runs for Mike Soroka. Culberson, starting his 16th game in left field, is shaken up on the warning track. But that'll be the 3rd out of the inning. Inciarte, the center fielder, over to help him out. He may have knocked the wind out of himself. But that was a terrific effort, and he's going to get up now, just gathering himself. What a catch.
What a catch. Ronald Acuna is their normal left fielder, but he's on the disabled list with some injuries. That left shoulder took the full force of that auxiliary scoreboard out on left field, but it saved a couple of runs for his young starter. And he's happy with the effort.
Good defense in left field. Is still a scoreless game because of the effort by Charlie Culberson.
Then this man to my right after that Culberson catch there in deep right center field. Then Gary Soroka, Mike Soroka's father. Tell me what this moment is like for you and your family watching your son pitch here at Rogers Center on home turf against the team that he grew up watching, Gary.
Yep, absolutely. Blue Jays, I think, were probably our favorite team until draft year. But yeah, no, it's been a tremendous honor really for him to come back after tournament 12, pitching here a couple of years and everything else. I think I see a little nerves in him in the first inning for sure, but it's really awesome to come back and see everybody here too that's here to support him.
I understand that his first big league game was here at Rogers Center. He won a trip, is that right, from Calgary to Toronto to watch the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. What do you remember about that game?
We actually did, yeah. Home Run Sports actually had when they opened in Calgary, had a grand opening special, and we actually won that trip. So, yeah, it was really cool. I mean, at that time, he was probably only 13, 14, and really, it didn't mean much. I mean, it was a great experience. Blue Jays have always been great, through the whole junior national team experience, and supported them well, and nothing but good things to say. But, it was our favorite team, like I say, until 2015. Before
I let you go, did you have any words for him either last night or first thing this morning?
No, same thing every day. Love you, and, have a great game.
All right, that's it. Big words from Gary Soroka, Buck, and he did say that his son owes Culberson a steak dinner for that catch. Back to you guys.
And maybe 2 steak dinners. He saved him 2 runs, that's for sure. A terrific catch by Charlie Culbertson. Nick Markakis is the hitter. He's got a 2-ball, 1-strike count, and there's strike 2 delivered from Jaime Garcia. Markakis is having a terrific season. Batting .327, he leads the league with 92 hits. He also leads with 21 doubles. Up the middle, Diaz is there, has time, and Markakis is retired.
That .327 average, 4th best in the National League. Just a couple of spots behind his teammate Freddie Freeman, who's 2nd in the National League in hitting.
Matt Kemp leads the National League with a .338 average at the starter play. Then Freddie Freeman, Scooter Gennett, and Nick Markakis. This is Tyler Flowers, one of 2 very good catchers the Atlanta Braves have. He shares time with Kurt Suzuki, and they have both had good offensive seasons. Flowers with a .270 average.
With a lot of power. Now, he only has 4 home runs, but he can get a hold of the baseball, send it a long way. It's interesting, they've got their catchers in the lineup tonight. Kurt Suzuki is on deck. Normally, you don't see that from teams, having their one catcher in the lineup, the other one DHing. But if the other one, if he has to go in, Suzuki has to go in as the DH, that's no problem for the Braves. That's how they play in the National League, without a DH.
Yeah, you get a chance to get both their bats in the lineup with the American League rules in place. Ball and a strike to Flowers, inside off the plate, 2-1. Flowers is now 32 years old. He's a native of Georgia. Got to the big leagues for the first time in 2009 with the Chicago White Sox. Spent parts of 7 seasons in Chicago. This is his 3rd season with the Braves. Another high strike from Garcia. You mentioned Luke Maile in your conversation about Garcia. Garcia doesn't throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, but his movement to both sides of the plate is dramatic.
Yeah, and he said, I'll see how the game's going. I'll start off in the middle of the plate to make sure he gets it over, but the ball will move like that one did. You see how Luke was set up in the middle of the plate, and the movement took it right to the corner, so he doesn't have to set up on the corner. Set up in the middle and let his movement take it to where he needs to. Watch this ball cut. Right there. That is tough. A to hit, B, and I think Luke can attest to that, tough to catch.
That was interesting. That was a 2-seam fastball. Then generally 2-seam fastballs sink, but that one cut. And that's how much movement Garcia has, and Luke Maile has to be on his toes all the time. You call for a sinker, it might be a cutter. This is Kurt Suzuki. He's the DH tonight. They've done a nice job with this young pitching staff, Flowers and Suzuki. They have really worked well together. Line drive, that's going to get down in front of Hernandez and bounce off his glove over his head all the way to the wall. He kind of got over there and nonchalanted it, and the ball bounced up and went off the tip of his glove all the way to the wall.
We'll have to see how they score that. Normally, that's going to be a double. He just got a little bit too close to this ball. Didn't judge it properly off the bats. Hits on that turf and bounces over his head. He hits it hard, Suzuki. Gets the head out, rips it to left field, but he gets too close, and it bounces over his head.
Yeah, those things you can't have happen against a good team like the Braves. A 2-out double. The 11th double for Suzuki, and now he's in scoring position. That should have been a single and cut off by Hernandez. Charlie Culberson, who made that great catch in left field, now the batter.
Well, he has already accounted for 2 runs. 2 runs that he kept off the scoreboard with this outstanding catch. It stays in the ballpark, and he reaches out at the last second, full extension, and then right into that wall. Again, Ronald Acuna is their normal everyday left fielder, but he's on the disabled list. Going to be getting back pretty quickly, pretty soon. So they've had to patch it together, if you will, in the outfield. It's a pretty good catch.
Culberson has bounced around from team to team. He started out with the Giants in 2012, got into 6 games, and went to Colorado for a couple of years. Then not playing the big leagues in 2015, and then surfaced with the Dodgers. Of course, he had a great postseason run last year for LA.
One of those super utility type of players. They can play him all over the field if you need to, and he's going to give you a good at bat. He's already had a couple of walk-off hits this season.
Yeah, good teams need players like Charlie Culberson, guy who can play in the infield, play in the outfield, keeps his game sharp even though he might not have regular at bats,
and gives you good at bats. 4 doubles, 3 home runs, taken all the way there.
Culberson in the World Series against Houston had 3 hits in 5 at bats, including a home run. Three balls and his strike, 2 outs. Kurt Suzuki at second with a 2-out double. Ripped foul. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light MLB cans available now, featuring the Blue Jays, Red Sox, Yankees, Cubs, Mariners, and Expos. Good to see the Expos logo there.
Yes.
Full count, 2 outs. Charlie Culberson facing Jaime Garcia. No score. We're in the top of the 2nd inning.
I don't think you have to challenge him here. I think you got to throw a pitch to make an out with, and if you miss, big deal. You had first base open anyway. You've got a lefty coming up on deck who is now coming up, who's hitting 188 against left-handed pitching.
Ender Inciarte, the center fielder. He's hitting in the 8th spot. He's 2 for 9 against Jaime Garcia. So now there are runners at first and second with 2 outs. Inciarte batting .245 for the season. He's got 5 homers and 26 ribbies. Breaking ball, and Bailey, he got crossed up.
I think he did. I don't know how he caught that ball if he did get crossed up, but he handled that beautifully. They will go through certain signs, and they'll talk about it before the game, what they want to throw in certain situations with runners at second base. Luke was expecting a fastball, and somehow he caught that breaking ball. Watch the hand go out like it's a fastball and somehow finds the webbing. So right away, he's not wasting any time. Let's talk about this.
Cost him a mound visit, but it's a very important visit. Try to get your signals sorted out. Suzuki's at second. He's been there for an entire at bat plus 1. Well, I tell you, as a catcher, Once that happens to you in the course of an inning or a course of an at-bat, you always have doubts that the pitcher doesn't have it sorted out, so you're really on ice skates back there.
At times it can be very challenging, you know, with the signs, and it's not just one set. They'll keep changing it. They'll change it from batter to batter, from inning to inning, so you got to constantly communicate.
And Jaime, like most pitchers, is very paranoid about protecting his pitch selection. So he'll have several different sets. He and Luke Maley will sit before the game and say, okay, we get a runner at second base. If I touch this chest protector, it's the third sign. Shin guard, it's the fourth sign. Mask might be the first sign. Lots of different combinations. 3-0 pitch to Inciarte. That's ball 4. That'll load him up. Boy, it really changed this inning, the complexion of the inning, when Hernandez allowed that ball to go over his head for a 2-out double to Suzuki. You're pitching with a guy in scoring position. It's a totally different approach had he been at first base with 2 outs.
You're trying to be so fine, and you're trying not to make a mistake, because if you do, it's going to cost you a run. Runner at first base, if you give up a hit, it's not going to score a run. You're so true about that. Those little things, and it's not an error. It wasn't an error. It was a double. It's just it got a little bit too close to that ball. It bounced over his head.
But it's a play that has to be made. 2 outs now. Bases loaded for Johan Tamargo, the third baseman. Ball downstairs. Blue Jays had a golden opportunity in the bottom of the first to break through on top, but they stranded a pair of base runners. Two balls and no strikes.
With the great movement like he had against Flowers. Remember, there were 2 outs, nobody on when this rally started. Set up down the middle and just throw that fastball.
Maley with a encouraging target. Long, deep drive, and this one's going to go. Grand slam home run for Johan Camargo. That's the 3rd grand slam the Braves have hit this season, and Mike Soroka is staked to an early lead.
It looked like it was going to be 2-0 lead for the Blue Jays. The great catch by Culberson. 2 outs, nobody on, and the Braves have struck quickly. The walks are hurting Jaime Garcia, falling behind Camargo, the number 9 hitter, and that was a pitch that didn't move.
7th home run of the season. It's his first career grand slam, and Atlanta has a 4-0 lead with 1 swing of the bat.
Luke wanted that ball there, and it didn't move. Remember the one to Flowers that cut right in on his hands? That one stayed out over the plate. And Johan Camargo with home run number 7.
Well, what a turnaround. Half inning. Great defensive play by Charlie Culberson. And a grand slam home run by Johan Camargo. Hot shot bobbled by Travis, and Albies will reach. Should be an air charge to the second baseman. It was hit hard, but right to the feet of Devin Travis at second.
And if it is an error, which it is, that will be his 2nd of the season. See it come up right at the last minute. When that ball is skipping like that from the turf to the dirt, that last hop always seems to be a tricky one. Handcuffs Devin momentarily, but the speed of Albies hustles himself to first base, keeps the inning alive.
First error of the ball game, charged to the second baseman Devin Travis. This is Dansby Swanson. Got to keep your eye on Albies at first. He has 6 stolen bases. Garcia retired the first 2 batters easily. Got Markakis to ground out, struck out Flowers looking, and then Suzuki hit the double with 2 outs. Back-to-back walks to Culberson and Inciarte, then the grand slam home run by Camargo. Fly ball to center field. Pilar's got plenty of room, and that ball carries a little bit more than he thought. But that'll end the inning. Swanson flies out. But Johan Camargo hits his first career grand slam to put the Braves up early 4-0. And the Braves, they didn't put any shackles on it. They pitched him a lot.
Yes, they did. In that 2015 season, he threw 34 innings in just 10 games. Then he really opened it up in 16 with 143 innings, then 153 2/3. The following season, when he was still a teenager, they believe in throwing. They believe in going out there and working at your craft. He's got a tremendous windup. He's got a tremendous delivery that takes a lot of pressure off of his arm. And Chuck Hernandez was saying somebody really did him right.
This is going to be trouble. Get down, ball. That ball is a fair ball off the wall. Grichuk is headed for second. Culberson makes a nice play, but not in time as Randall Grichuk continues to swing a red-hot bat.
They made some adjustments with his swing, and it all starts with his hands. He felt like he was really gripping the bat really hard, trying to impress at the beginning of the season. He said it just slowed everything down. Now I feel like I'm loose. I'm trying not to grab that bat so tight, and it has freed up my hands. It has freed up my swing. Boy, is he ever right. That's another extra base hit for Grichuk.
And Soroka comes right back and jumps ahead with a fastball strike to Aledmys Diaz. Diaz batting .226. There's a line drive to left, but that's going to stay up for Culberson. Wow.
Wow.
Can't make it that close. Culberson threw back behind Grichuk, and he barely got in ahead of the throw. Charlie Culberson's a ball player. I don't care where you play him. He's going to figure out a way to try to beat you.
Don't take anything for granted against him. You got to play the game the right way. He's going to throw behind the runner after catching that, and Randall gets back just in time.
Well, I tell you what, Albies was there anticipating the throw. The umpire was right on top of it. So now there's one out. Luke Maile hitting in the 8th spot. Blue Jays wasted a leadoff double in the 1st. Grichuk has the leadoff double here in the 2nd. Luke Maile takes a strike. Soroka, in his last start, as good as he was, allowing just 1 hit over 6 1/3, he said he didn't throw enough first pitch strikes. And he's taking it to heart here tonight.
And it's tough for batters who've never faced him. I mean, they've never faced Soroka before, falling behind 0-1, but they want to take a look at what that fastball looks like.
Maile hits a high drive down the right side. That'll slice out of play. Johan Camargo from Panama with his first career Grand Slam home run. He's just 24. Nobody talks about him because Acuna and Albies are even younger. Camargo making his 28th start at third base. 0-2 to Maley.
There's that hard sinker. What I meant by whoever worked with him younger, when he was younger, in his delivery, his demeanor, the way he pitches, I said, you mean Team Canada? And Chuck Hernandez said yes. They did a heck of a job polishing this kid to get him ready for pro baseball.
Chris Rietsma had a lot to do with the development of Mike Soroka. That ball gets away from Flowers, and well, that's a free 90 feet. Blue Jays certainly can use that. Flowers kind of went at it one-handed. Didn't really block it, and the ball kicked off his glove. Remember, he was charged with a pass ball in the first inning.
The other hand should be there to knock it down, and he lifts it up, and it just gets underneath that elbow. So now the runner's at third base. The infield will play back. That's a free RBI.
Good job by Luke Maley. Put the bat on the ball, and Grichuk takes advantage of that wild pitch. So Grichuk scores the first Blue Jay run after he doubled the start inning. Luke Maley picks up the RBI, his 17th of the season, and the Blue Jays are on the board. Boy, 90 feet doesn't seem like a lot, but you can really turn a game around back in your direction.
Yeah, and the Braves can't come in there, not with a 4-0 lead, so they play back. He sees that, cut down the swing, get a nice easy RBI.
Another first pitch strike delivered to Devin Travis. Boy, Devin's really been swinging the bat well. He is 6 for 10 on this homestand in the 3-game series against the Nationals. He lifts this one in the air. Down the right side. Markakis, the right fielder, takes charge and makes the catch. The Blue Jays score a run. Luke Maley with the RBI. Randall Grichuk with the leadoff double.
World Baseball Classic is by far his favorite moment as a baseball player. He said to be able to honor his late mother, who was born in Toronto, and to have his father in the stands, he was born in Windsor, Ontario, was such a special time for him and his family. He's grateful to have had the opportunity to represent his mother that way. Now, Freeman told me that his dad would often tell him stories of how his father would make the trek to downtown Toronto and then wait on his mother so he could greet her after she finished work. As for Soroka, Freeman said he wants him to do well. Of course, he's excited for him, not just as a teammate, Buck, but as a fellow Canadian. He would love to see him have success here tonight.
Well, I tell you what, every time we see a Canadian come back to Toronto, they always talk about how proud they are of having played for Team Canada, played for the national junior team, and Freddie Freeman is a member of that list. Terrific guy and a very good player.
These are the kind of players that you have to draft, develop, bring up here, and they're your leaders. For a decade, you can be the leader. If the best player on the team sets the right example, everybody else will follow. And nobody better on the Braves than Freddie Freeman.
He's 28 years old. Played his entire career with the Braves. That is Solarte up the middle on the shift. Freeman is retired, one away.
How many years did we see Derek Jeter do it for the New York Yankees? George Brett did it with the Kansas City Royals. I mean, it goes on and on when you've got that one player who leads by example and he's your best player. Again, everybody's going to do it. They don't want to let him down.
Freddie Freeman has an assistant in the guy that hits behind him, Nick Markakis. You talk about two pros. They both go about their business with a tremendous amount of pride. And they demand everybody around them does the same.
You know, Alex Anthopoulos was talking today before the game about that. And that's one of the things that he really learned when he was here in Toronto as the general manager, that having character guys and great players who are great leaders mean a lot more than some numbers you might find on a computer printout sheet. The way they help their teammates, the example that they set on the field and off the field, how to play the game the right way. It's a grind to play 162 games. It really is. But when you've got great players, I mean, the Blue Jays didn't start winning until Russell Martin came aboard.
Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis are the only pair of National League teammates to start all of their team games. The true epitome of everyday players and leaders. And they're both very quiet guys. They're not guys you will hear a lot from, but when they speak, everybody listens.
The older guys, the oldest guys on the team, setting the example, the best players.
Markakis has never made an all-star team, and he is leading the National League outfielders in votes this season. He's also a free agent at the end of this season. He's had an outstanding career. Lines that one foul into the seats. Markakis is 34 years old, but he grew up in Georgia. He was a #1 pick of the Baltimore Orioles in 2003, 7th pick overall. He was a pitcher and a hitter in junior college.
He's got over 2,100 career hits.
Called strike 3. Markakis is surprised by the call. Rob Drake rings him up. Pitch was off the plate and low, but Jaime Garcia gets the call. Second strikeout of the ball game. They've both been called third strikes.
And that one right on the corner to freeze a pretty good hitter in Nick Markakis. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now. It's high enough, and according to the home plate umpire, it's on the plate.
So 2 down now. Tyler Flowers. He was called out on strikes his last time up. There's that changeup. He still hasn't found the release point on that changeup.
You can't run from it because it's such a big thing. A big pitch, and what Jaime Garcia does, he's just going to have to find it. He has to find it. So Luke Maile comes right back with it. That one was a little bit better.
Foul back. 2 balls and a strike to the Braves catcher. There's the man that has done the damage for Atlanta, Johan Camargo. Just 24 years old. He's from Panama, as we mentioned. Remember, Jose Bautista made 8 starts at third base for the Braves earlier in the season, and they let him go.
And the reasoning was this kid right here deserves a chance to play. He deserves to go out there, and he basically won the job, and they let Jose go.
Camargo hit the grand slam. The last Brave to hit a grand slam versus the Blue Jays was Lonnie Smith in Game 5 of the '92 World Series, off none other than Jack Morris.
To right field. I remember that.
Wow. Good job by Scott Carson. There's ball 4. A 2-out walk, third walk of the ball game issued by Garcia.
The diverse Civic family, our most powerful lineup yet. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful evening in Toronto as the roof is wide open. 21 degrees, a very comfortable night here. Kurt Suzuki, the DH. He hit the 2-out double that led to that 4-run inning. It looked like a single. It bounced off the glove of Teoscar Hernandez and kept the inning alive. And then the Braves would get back-to-back walks to set up the grand slam. Kurt Suzuki has done the most of the catching for Atlanta. Suzuki is from Hawaii, now 34 years old. He was a high draft pick of Oakland, second rounder. Drives this one into center. Here comes Pilar. That's going to hang up for the center fielder, and he makes the catch. Suzuki's hit the ball hard twice. Mike Soroka has a 4-1 lead. Back in May, Nick Pivetta, OJ saw him. He's got a 4-6 record. He's just 25 years old. And then Mike Soroka making his 5th big league start here tonight has a very good ERA at 2.74. Pivetta actually beat the Atlanta Braves in Philadelphia 3-0 back on the 21st of May. And then James Paxton had a terrific night here early in May.
And I like what I see from this kid right here. Tell you what, the Blue Jays could do no wrong if they go out there and start drafting pitchers from Canada. There's some good-looking young arms.
I tell you, Soroka is a very impressive young man. I actually talked to him today, something you don't do very often, starting pitchers. I had met Mike earlier with Chris Rietsma. They were here for a workout, and we got a chance to visit. And then I saw him today. He was outside early, enjoying the atmosphere. And we went over and had a nice chat. He was very relaxed. I said, hey, you out here? He says, yeah. He says, I got about 30 minutes before I have to lock in and start to focus on this ball game. But he was out visiting with some people that had known him from Tournament 12. Anderson hits it hard, but foul down the right side. But it is so refreshing. And, you know, we had a chance to talk to Paxton after his no-hitter. And Pivetta I spoke to in spring training. But that is Gary Soroka, Mike's dad, who's here, and he was in Atlanta for Father's Day. And Mike told me that he wasn't sure Gary was going to come here, but then found out that Gary's brother was coming to Toronto, so then he said, I'm coming too. Of course, how can you miss?
How can you
Mike
miss
starting here in Rogers Center? High fastball. Second strikeout of the game right in front of his dad. Not too bad.
He's got a little bit of a cut or a little movement right at the end of that fastball, that's going to be hard to pick up. Watch the movement. It's going to be a fastball to Granderson, but there's a little bit of movement right at the end to make it tough. As a dad, it's tough to watch your kid play.
That was as tough a thing as I ever had to do, and you did the same thing with your sons, watching them play sports. And you sit there, and we both played, of course, but then watch your son play. It's like you want to help him out through every move. It's really hard.
I was just like Gary right there. Something good happened, I'd start cheering. I'm like, okay, tone it down. Tone it down just a little bit. Everybody's watching. Don't get too excited, you know.
Dustin Smoke takes that sinker. That's a good-looking sinker. Lots of late movement.
And it seems to be heavy. And by that I mean when you start to swing the bat and you hit it, it almost overcomes your bat, pushes your bat backwards.
Follows it up with a good changeup.
I'm going to put it into perspective for you how young this kid is. I mentioned that he's 20 years old. Ball's fouled off. Bartolo Colon made his major league debut 4 months before this kid was born. Before he was born.
Pitching.
And he's still pitching and still winning at the major league level. The most wins as a Dominican-born pitcher just the other day, so congratulations to him.
He just passed the great Juan Marichal.
But think about that.
Puts it in perspective.
He started in the major leagues, and then 4 months later, Mike was born. And now here he is competing in the big leagues too.
Changeup popped into the seats. You know, I was in the major leagues, and it was actually just yesterday I made my debut in 1969 as a 20-year-old catcher. But I was so overmatched, and watching Mike work here tonight, it's amazing to see how composed he is. That ball is a fly ball hit to right. Markakis is not going to get it. Smoke is headed for second. Markakis has a strong arm, but it's offline, not in time, and Smoke delivers a one-out double. That's the third double the Blue Jays have hit off Soroka. All three of the hits he surrendered have been extra base hits.
Yeah, one in each inning. And it just has to do with pitches that are up in the strike zone. That one was up and in, and Smoke, he didn't get all of it, but he got enough of it. Caught a break when that ball hit off the wall and then stayed up in the air a long time right there. You can see Markakis, one of the best throwing arms and one of the most accurate arms in baseball. Had to wait a long time for that ball to come down.
Hernandez goes after the first pitch on the slider and grounds out to shortstop. No Smoke still at second base. So Hernandez is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. Now Solarte will have to deliver with 2 outs.
Same situation as we saw in the first inning. Man at second base, 2 outs. Solarte at the plate, Kevin Pillar on deck. It looked like they chose not to pitch to Solarte. He ended up walking him.
Slider off the plate inside. And Ervis has had a great homestand. He has a double and 3 home runs. He is 5 for 13 in the homestand, including a walk tonight. Fly ball to center field. Inciarte, no problem. He's over in the alley, and that'll end. So the Blue Jays strand another base runner. They leave Smoke at second base. weekend will not be available on Sportsnet TV. You can find the game on Blue Jays' Facebook page. It will also be available, as usual, on Sportsnet Radio. It'll be Jay Happ against Anibal Sanchez, and Sanchez looks like he's trying to get to the heart of why the balls are going out of the ballpark. Taking that baseball apart, so there must be a heart in here, a heartbeat, something that makes that ball fly, so he's going to check it out himself.
A super ball. Right.
Is Charlie Culberson. He has made the play of the game so far defensively. Made a terrific catch, robbing Kevin Pillar of an extra base hit and saved 2 runs for Mike Soroka. He had 2 walk-off pinch hit home runs earlier this season, the first Brave player to do that in Atlanta history. We talk about getting an opportunity in extra bases, and he delivered extra innings. He delivered twice.
So if you make a mistake, he can leave. Garcia's got to be very careful. Jaime walked him after the double to Suzuki with first base open a couple of innings ago. He came around to score on that grand slam.
There's a fly ball to left field. Hernandez is back looking up, and this ball is gone. Charlie Culberson saved 2 runs, and now he adds to the Braves' lead with a home run, his 4th of the season.
He is short to the ball. Goes right down there and got a little bit of a lift in that swing to get the ball up into the air. Just his 4th home run, but all of them are big. Watch this pitch. Cuts down and in, and he's able to lift the ball to left field. What a finish.
Got a lot of good sound to that contact for Culberson. 4 home runs is a new career high. There's a ball past a diving Travis into right field off the bat of Ender Inciarte.
Culberson saved a couple of the great play. Now he's going to knock one in. He's also scored one. So he has accounted for 4 runs, 2 that he kept off the board and 2 that he put on his side of the scoreboard.
Yeah, he's +3 for sure. Now Pete Walker out to the mound with that base hit off the bat of Inciarte. Home run single for the Braves here in the 4th inning, and with that the bullpen has started to work down in left field. That's Danny Barnes first up for the Blue Jays tonight. Short message from the pitching coach Pete Walker as the Blue Jays now trail 5-1.
These are big starts, I think, for Jaime Garcia. The Blue Jays are going to get one of their starters back in the next few days. Marcus Stroman has announced that he's going to be pitching. So the Blue Jays are going to have to lose a start. I don't know if you send one to the bullpen or what you do.
Inciarte scrambled back. He's got 21 steals this year, so he's a threat to run. Johan Camargo hit his first career grand slam back in the 2nd. His 7th home run of the season. The 4 RBIs pushes him up to 29 on the year. Little tapper foul off home plate.
There's Marcus. He had his game rained out last night, but he threw a 75 pitch simulated game and declared himself ready. And I'm sure we will see him at some point very soon.
Base hit to right field for Camargo. Inciarte will stop at 2nd. So home run single from the bottom 3rd of this lineup here in the 4th inning, and that's going to be it. John Gibbons has already made the call to the bullpen. So Jaime Garcia, another short outing for Garcia. He will go 3 innings plus 3 batters. He has surrendered 5 runs on 5 hits to this point. Danny Barnes coming into the ball game. The Braves have a 5-1 lead. Welcome to Rogers Center. Picked a great night to be here. It is a gorgeous evening. Danny Barnes will be the first reliever out of the bullpen. He comes in relief of Jaime Garcia.
Danny last pitched on Saturday, just 2/3 of an inning in that game against Washington. All told, 30 games already this season for Barnes. Spent some time down in the minor leagues also. 2-1 record. He has done this before, picked up a starter who was knocked out early. The last time he did that was down at Tampa on the 11th when he had to go an inning and 2/3, picking up Sam Gaviglio.
Albies goes after the first pitch. Tagging at second is the base runner, but he'll hold. Inciarte will stay put.
Beauty Tone is the official paint of the Toronto Blue Jays. Only available at Home Hardware. Here's how.
Jaime Garcia, the starter for the Blue Jays, goes 3 innings plus 3 batters. He's charged with 5 hits to this point. The 2 runners on base are his responsibility. He has given up a grand slam home run to Johan Camargo and a solo home run to Charlie Culbertson. Dansby Swanson is 0 for 2, popped up and flied out to center. He goes after the first pitch, a high pop up to left. Hernandez coming in. He'll get there and make the catch. So Danny Barnes gets the first 2 batters here he's faced in the 4th inning.
The Atlanta Braves have done their homework. They knew a little something about Danny Barnes. He's going to be around the plate. Fastball, changeup, a little bit of a slider, but he's a strike thrower. And he likes to jump ahead. Strike 1.
Now he's got to deal with Freddie Freeman. Freeman has grounded out twice, both to the right side of the infield. Runners at first and second for Freeman. Just a bit low. Freeman facing Danny Barnes for the first time.
The Atlanta Braves have a lot of players leading their positions for the All-Star votes.
There goes Inciarte to third, and Freeman bounces it to second base. Travis goes to second for the force out. Inciarte was running, but the inning is over. The Braves get another run, and Jaime Garcia is out of the game.
in the majors since Dick Fowler in 1941. And Soroka is keenly aware of what it means to be Canadian playing America's pastime, Buck. Soroka made sure he saved memorabilia from his major league debut so he could pass it along to the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's that kind of kid. He understands the significance of his performance in the big leagues. Making this start tonight, he becomes the first ever Canadian-born Braves pitcher to start in his native country. Only one other Canadian has ever pitched for the Braves in Canada. That's Claude Ramon.
Wow.
Claude Ramon beat Montreal on May 16, 1969, throwing 2 innings of scoreless relief.
Also got the note that he becomes the first Alberta-born pitcher to start an MLB game on the road versus a Canadian team.
And I tell you one thing, he certainly doesn't look like he's 20 years old.
Hey, he looks like he's 16, 17.
He's pitching like he's
30.
10-year vet.
Exactly.
1-2 to Pilar, and he rips it into left field. This got a chance to be a double. Pilar hustles around first. Culberson's throw towards second base is a good one, but not in time. Pilar slides in head first with another double.
You know, why don't they just start a runner out at second base? That'll save a few pitches. That's another double for the Blue Jays. 4 of them, 1 in each inning. 3rd inning out of 4 where they started with a runner at second base. That's a hanging breaking ball. Pilar got a hanging breaking ball his last time up. Roped at the left field. Culberson caught that one, saved a couple of runs. That time, a close play at second base.
For Pilar, that's his 22nd double of the season. And Randall Grichuk, he doubled his last time up back in the 2nd.
Grichuk was saying that the adjustments that they have made, he said, you know, and I'm not gripping the bat so tightly now. It feels like I can get the bat, my swing, I can get through the baseball now. And I said, did anything have to do with the tough start, wanting to prove that they made a good trade, coming to a new team? And he said, you know, I don't want to admit it, but yes, that's true. He told me that that same thing happened to Dexter Fowler last year when he went to the Cardinals. He said he was really trying so hard to impress his teammates, wanted to do well, wanted to show the organization they made a good move. And anything that could go wrong for him, it seemed like that first month went wrong for Randall.
Well, you remember in spring training, he had 2 injuries. He had a rib injury, and then he dove and hurt his wrist, so he was out of action for a couple of different stints, and that cut down the number of at-bats he had. Plus, he's trying to get acclimated with his new teammates, and it was a challenging time for him. Ground ball up the middle. Pilar's headed for third. Albies makes a terrific play. What a good two-way player Ozzie Albies is. He makes a nice play up the middle and throws out Grichuk.
Albies came up as a shortstop, so he's got a shortstop type of arm, and he's going to show it off here. This looked like a base hit for sure up the middle, but look at the arm strength going away from the bag, turning your body all the way around, and then accurately throwing over to that big target like we talked about at first base again, and Freddie Freeman. Good play.
What was interesting was Albies was bouncing back to a regular position at second when that ball was hit. Had to change directions and had plenty of time to get to it.
He was out here today working with Ron Washington, who is one of the best infield instructors, I think, in all of baseball. And they were taking balls off the bat, taking balls off this turf, telling him to move quickly.
Little squib around in front of home. Flowers goes to first. He looked Pilar back at third. 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Bryce Harper down to 211 now, and he shaved his beard. He's trying to change his luck. So 2 outs now. Soroka has held the Blue Jays to an 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Another example of his maturity. Never gets rattled when he's got runners in scoring position. Luke Maile grounded out to shortstop in the second.
Well, this is one of the best players the Blue Jays have had this season, hitting with runners in scoring position. Luke 9 for 27 this year with those runners out there, those RBI opportunities.
Atlanta leads it 5-1. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Well, that's a great sinker right at the bottom of the zone. It starts in the strike zone, and then the movement takes it underneath the bat of the hitter. There's that four-seam fastball, the difference that Chuck Hernandez was talking to you about.
Yeah, and what you do when you worry about that and work on that is you got to reach with that four-seam fastball. He wanted him to reach and get it out and throw the ball out in front. That four-seamer. Two-seamer is going to be his bread and butter pitch, but don't forget about that four-seamer.
Ground ball base hit for Maile. Pilar will come in to score. Luke Maile delivers another two-out clutch hit. So the Blue Jays get their first hit with a runner in scoring position tonight, and it comes off the bat of Luke Maile.
You know, I've noticed that Dansby Swanson, the shortstop, with the right-handed batters, and yes, you've got a hard-throwing sinker ball pitcher, but look where he's playing. Look how far over in the hole he's playing, and look at in the middle, that someplace that you got a shot to shoot for. It's a huge window right back through the middle, and Luke Maile takes advantage of it.
RBI number 17 for the Blue Jays catcher. Another bouncing ball up the middle. Albies throws another fine defensive play by the young second baseman Albies. That ends the inning. Blue Jays get a run on two hits. It's 5-2 Atlanta. Now time for a Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddle in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Online. Make sure your favorite Toronto Blue Jays are represented on this year's squad by voting at bluejays.com/vote. Catch all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard on July 17th live from Nationals Ballpark in Washington, D.C. Buck.
Should be a good time as the Blue Jays are hopeful of getting a couple of All-Stars. Solarte might be a candidate as he has had a fine first season with the Blue Jays. Jay Happ's another possible candidate. As we speak in the outfield, Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, and Aaron Judge lead the voting in the outfield. Nick Markakis leads the National League outfielders in votes.
In the outfield, Freddie Freeman leads all National League in votes. He's up to 1.4 million already. Very popular team, the Braves.
They have been for a long time. And you know, this particular ball club, we got the veterans Markakis and Freeman, but you got Albies, you've got Acuna who's on the DL, you've got Camargo. And they have done a great job over the years of bringing up kids from their minor leagues. It started back in '91 when they had that first core of players. Chipper Jones was the marquee player of that group. Jeff Blauser, and they had Lemke at second base, Mark Lemke, and Brian Klesko.
David Justice. I mean,
Glavin.
Still the best way to build a team is through your farm system. Year after year, having those young, good players come up through your system.
The next wave included Brian McCann, Jeff Francoeur, that group, and they turned it into a postseason team as well. Markakis fouls it up.
Did you mention Andrew Jones?
I forgot him.
He was pretty good.
He was pretty good. He was part of that first core.
Oh, wow.
He came up as a 19-year-old and hit 2 home runs in his first 2 at-bats in the World Series in '96.
You can't put a figure on great scouts and then player development. There's just no number that you can put on that. It's the lifeblood of your organization.
Markakis draws the leadoff walk. The Atlanta Braves were not counted on to be a contending ball club this year. Everybody thought it might be next year, maybe even the following year, but Brian Snitker, the manager, has guided this team to a 3.5 game lead over the Phillies and the Nationals.
So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens over the next 5 or 6 weeks or so heading into the trade deadline. Are the Atlanta Braves all the way in? Or are they feeling we weren't expected to be here, let's just continue to do what we're going to do? Or do they make a bold move, sell off some of their young players to get some veterans to help them over the hump and then into the playoffs?
That is always a challenge for a team. There's a fly ball to center field. Pilar back. Markakis will retreat to first base as Flowers flies out. Let's check in again with Jamie Campbell. And Nick Castellanos has an assist. Home run number 7 for Votto. 4 RBIs. He's up to 36 for the season. Kurt Suzuki, he's the DH tonight. Suzuki has doubled and lined out. He's hit the ball sharply twice. The Braves last got to the postseason in 2013. They lost in the division series. Freddie Gonzalez was the manager of that team. Then you go back to the Bobby Cox era. '95, they won the World Series. They lost in '96 in the World Series. Of course, that team featured Greg Maddux and John Smoltz.
And Glavin, all Hall of Famers.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't an accident they won.
Chipper Jones, Hall of Famer. But they, at one point, they were an older team with some big contracts, and they made the decision, okay, we're going to start over. They started trading off some of their good young players and some of their veterans. Craig Kimbrell, Justin Upton, Andrelton Simmons, B.J. Upton, all players that the Braves let go a few years ago and got some good prospects from the other organization, drafted well, made some really smart baseball moves, and here they are. One of the great baseball moves they made was trading for Dansby Swanson and Ender Inciarte for Shelby Miller. Swanson was the first pick in the draft the year before.
2-2 to Suzuki. That's a low ball 3. Yeah, you go back to the Braves and when things started to turn around for them. In 1990, they won 65 games, and then Bobby Cox named himself the manager in '91. And
smart guy.
Yeah, he was. He was the GM, got all those great players, and then said, okay, I think I'll manage now. There goes Markakis. The ball is hit in the air. Shallow center field. This is trouble. It's going to drop. Here's Suzuki with his second hit of the ball game. A little looper into center field, into no man's land.
Yeah, he got a hit his first time up, was robbed his next time up on a great play by Pilar on a line drive, but this one gets jammed. And Pilar does the right thing here, decoying Nick Markakis like he's going to catch the ball, so Markakis can only move up to second base. He's got to stay put until that ball safely makes it into the outfield. Pilar with a little bit of an assist there, decoying the runner.
Charlie Culberson. He has walked and scored. He had a leadoff home run back in the fourth. For Culberson, that's his fourth home run of the season. That sets a new career high. He's never been an everyday player. Off the plate, it's 2 balls and no strikes. It's really interesting. You talk about drafting well and scouting well. Culberson was a first-round pick of the Giants in 2007, but never really grabbed onto an everyday role. High fly ball, not that deep. Grichuk backing up. Markakis going back to tag at second. He will move up to third as Culberson flies out. Now there are 2 outs.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
Joe Biagini loosening up in the Blue Jays bullpen.
Sometimes, you know, you're talking about Culberson bouncing around to a couple of teams. Sometimes it takes the right team using you the right way before you can really take off as a major leaguer. He's had a heck of a game tonight.
Runners at the corners, 2 outs for Ender Inciarte, the center fielder, and he goes after a changeup and waves at it. Danny Barnes came into the ball game with 2 on and nobody out in the 4th inning and retired the next 3 batters to get out of it. He walked Markakis to start this inning. Flowers lined out. Suzuki had a bloop single and Culberson flies out to right.
Got to leave him standing out there at third base. Got to pitch out of this one.
Mike Frosted, former Blue Jays assistant trainer, now in that same role with Atlanta in his first year with the Braves. He and George Poulos were a long-time team here with the Blue Jays. They are now both together once again in Atlanta. George Poulos is the head trainer and Frosty is the assistant.
It looks strange. He and George not wearing the blue of the Blue Jays. Saw George down on the field earlier today.
Good block by Maley. Smothers that ball in the dirt. Kevin Seitzer, also a member of the Blue Jays, a former hitting coach now with the Braves.
He's done a good job with these young kids, always stressing using the whole field. Become a complete hitter first before we unlock that power.
Off the plate outside, it's a full count. There are 2 outs, so Kurt Suzuki, the base runner at first base, will be moving on the pitch. Markakis is at third, and Smoke will back up behind the runner at first. There goes Suzuki. The ball is hit down the right side, and that's going to get down for a base hit. Off the wall, Markakis is in to score. Suzuki's being waved around, and the throw goes to second, so Suzuki will score all the way from first base on the Inciarte 2-run double. So it is now 7-2 Atlanta.
Inciarte had come into this game hitting 184 with just 2 extra base hits over his last 13 games. He's 2 for 2 now with a walk. fastball up and in. He knows he's going to get it from Barnes, and he turns on it. That's an extra base hit off the wall. And when that throw goes into second base, here comes Suzuki to score from first base.
Camargo is a switch hitter, so he turns around and bats left-handed for the first time. He has hit a grand slam and he's singled. Good changeup. A ball and a strike to the Braves' third baseman. Mike Soroka now given a 7-2 lead. Another changeup.
You see a lot of movement in Camargo's swing, pre-swing. That's why Barnes is feeding him all these changeups here, just to throw off that timing a little bit. Now you can use that patented high fastball after all those changeups, just to show it to him. Maybe he'll swing at it, maybe he won't.
Just a bit too high at 94. It's 2-2. Camargo got into 82 games last year with Atlanta. He hit .299. He had 4 homers and 27 RBIs. He has surpassed those marks. His grand slam in the second was his 7th home run of the season. Changeup into dirt. Full count, 2 outs. Braves had scored 2 more runs here in the 5th. Joe Biagini is ready in the Blue Jays bullpen if needed. Base hit. Inciarte is around third. He's going to score easily, as Camargo is having a big night. He's 3 for 3 with 5 ribbies, and he's their number 9 hitter.
Yeah, you'd love to get Danny Barnes through this inning, but it's not going to happen. Biagini's going to have to close it out and then give you a couple of more. He was hoping to get through this one and let Biagini start a clean inning, but he's going to have to finish this one off.
Joe Biagini will come in with 2 outs.
Off season. Anthopoulos said the first time he came back, it was 5 months after he left in a different role with the visiting LA Dodgers. He was very apprehensive about coming to the ballpark because he knew he would attract a lot of media attention and he didn't want to be a distraction to his new ball club. Now that time has passed, and as Braves GM, he regularly makes himself available to the media anyway, so he thought it was a little bit more appropriate to be down here this time around. He was asked about his relationship with the current Jays front office. Anthopoulos admitted that the Jays and Braves had some trade discussions this past offseason, but of course nothing came of it. He said he's absolutely comfortable, Buck, dealing with the current front office, so there are no issues if there ever were potential future trades to be had.
Well, certainly Alex Anthopoulos has a history of making big trades at the trade deadline, and don't be surprised if he pulls the trigger again before that July 31st deadline.
Well, you know one thing, Buck, he's going to do his homework. I mean, he puts long hours in to his job. that doesn't leave any stone unturned to try and find a way to help his ball club. Joe Biagini into the ball game for the 14th time this season. There are Joe's numbers so far this season. Started as a starter this year. Now he has transitioned back into that long relief.
Ozzie Albies, the leadoff man. He goes after the first pitch. I'll tell you one thing, these Braves come up there swinging, don't they? Albies is 0 for 3, reached on an error in the second. 16 home runs. He doesn't look like a home run hitter, does he?
No, but he's got great bat speed. I had a chance to watch him today around 2 o'clock this afternoon take extra batting practice, and I noticed how quick his bat is.
Breaking ball high, pop up into center. Pilar calls for it. He'll get there, and that'll end the inning. So Biagini closes out the Braves in the 5th. But Atlanta 3 more runs to take a commanding 8-2 lead for Mike Soroka.
To the ballpark early to take part in our pregame festivities. Great seats are still available. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Now come out on Canada Day and help celebrate Aaron Sanchez's birthday. He'll be 26 on Canada Day. It's a great afternoon at the ballpark. It falls on Sunday this year, and you get a chance to pick up that good-looking red hat.
Tigers are in town, so it should be a big crowd.
Curtis Granderson hits it into the shift. Albies throws to Freeman, 1 away. And Sanchez starting to get sorted out. Last year, a write-off season for him, and it looks like now he's starting to pick it up where he left it off in 2016.
Yeah, last time out, probably the hardest he had thrown all season consistently from his first pitch to his last. I mean, he was all over that strike zone. I think he's going to have a big second half.
Justin Smoke has a double in 2 at bats. Blue Jays have 5 hits, 4 of them have gone for doubles, and Smoke has another hit that's down in front of Culberson. So Smokey is 2 for 3.
At the Honda checkered flag event, the real victory lap is the drive home.
A crowd on hand here for the first of 2 against the Atlanta Braves. A couple of first basemen talking about hitting. Freddie Freeman and Justin Smoke. Teoscar Hernandez, the Blue Jays left fielder, is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Goes after that first pitch, and why not? You've seen Soroka throw first pitch strikes all night.
Don't let a good fastball go by. He has really been able to turn on that fastball inside. He got one on Sunday on the inner half and crushed it to left field.
You notice Soroka's fastball, whether it's a two-seamer or four-seamer, 92, 93. We haven't really seen a fastball much harder than that. But he pitches very well with it, throws in different parts of the strike zone. It's a simple approach, fastball, slider, and changeup. That's a liner, and that's going to get down and off the glove of Culberson. Smokes around second. He's headed for third. Hernandez will jog into second with yet another double. That's 5 doubles for the Blue Jays tonight.
He was ahead 0-2. Remember, he struck out Teoscar in the first inning on a slider that was off the plate. So 0-2, what does he do? Throws a fat fastball right there. And Teoscar hits it hard. Look at that top spin. Ball hits the turf. And see you later. It's extra bases. Goes all the way to the wall. Really surprised that they tried a fastball 0-2 right there to a good fastball hitter.
Certainly got too much of the plate. And Elvis Solarte has walked and flied out. Swinging a drive deep to right field. Markakis is not going to get it. And it bounces over the fence for a ground rule double. And 2 runs will come in to score for the Blue Jays. Another double, the 16th of the season for Solarte, and the Blue Jays have cut the lead in half.
When you have runners on base, especially second and third and just 1 out, you are looking for something out over the plate that you can get into the outfield and drive in both runs. That's Chuck Hernandez going to go out and talk to his young starter. Solarte has become very reliable driving in these runs. Cutter on the inner half, and he pulls that ball with authority. Get the head out right there. Rip it up the gap into the right center field. Plates a couple of runs, and the Blue Jays are right back in it. That's the team leader right there in RBIs in Solarte with 43 now.
Chuck Hernandez in his 16th season as a Major League pitching coach. Has coached with the Angels, the Rays, the Tigers, the Marlins, and now with the Braves, his 2nd season with the Braves.
And he was telling me today, a lot of these young pitchers that are now up here in the major leagues, Soroka, Newcomb, the young pitchers that they have on their staff down in the minor leagues. So he has seen them grow as pitchers.
Kevin Pillar doubled and scored his last time up. Good fastball for strike 1. Bouncing ball. Solarte's headed for third. Swansby throws to Freeman, and Pillar's retired. Peter Moylan starting to loosen up for the Braves. There are 2 down now. What a beautiful night here in Toronto. The roof has been opened, and the temperature at the start of this game, 21 degrees, and it's perfect for baseball. So here is the hot Randal Grichuk. He's 1 for 2 with a double. Soroka not happy with that last delivery. You could see he pulled it off the plate well outside.
Just trying to get ahead, strike 1 with that sinker. Grichuk robbed last time by the second baseman of a hit.
Two runs in this inning, and another run right here to make it interesting. Atlanta has an 8-4 lead. Off the plate, good take by Grichuk. It's 3-0. And then Miss Diaz is on deck.
John Gibbons likes to give his veteran hitters the green light. 3-0. Especially a hot hitter.
Takes a strike. Slider for ball 4. Interesting point in the ball game for the Braves, and that's going to be it. So Mike Soroka will not qualify for a decision here as he goes 4 2/3. A disappointing outing. That's his father, Gary, who is here from Calgary. So Mike Soroka out of the ball game. He leaves with an 8-4 lead, but he did not complete 5 innings. Pitching change here at Rogers Center. Changed his facial expression one bit. He handed the ball to his manager. He calmly took a seat on the bench, and he deserves a lot of credit, a lot of composure for that young man. Peter Moylan into the ball game, his 31st appearance of the season.
Just 22 innings. He is a setup specialist who has, now this is his 13th appearance in his career versus the Blue Jays. He's been in the big leagues since 2006. Came up actually with the Braves in 2006. He's had a 120 batting average against him against the Blue Jays. That side winding throw, sinker, slider, the Blue Jays just haven't been able to figure him out.
Bouncing ball. Camargo has it, takes his time across the diamond in time. Moylan comes in and puts out the fire in the 5th. The Blue Jays give to Mike Soroka. They knock him out in the 5th, but the Braves have an 8-4 lead. 6 doubles in this game, but they haven't been able to take full advantage of those extra base hits. Joe Biagini stays in the ball game. He came in and get the final out of the top of the 5th inning. He got Ozzie Albies to fly out to center field.
Some clutch hitting, I think, has been the equalizer in this game for the Braves. They're 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They've drawn 4 walks. 3 of them have come around to score. Blue Jays are hitting a lot of doubles, but they can't catch up to the Braves, who just keep coming back at you offensively.
Swanson, Freeman, and Markakis for the Braves here in the 6th. First pitch cutter from Joe Biagini to get ahead of Dansby Swanson. Swanson is 0 for 3.
Arguably, their 3 best hitters are 1, 2, and 3. Albies, Swanson, and Freeman. They haven't gotten a hit tonight. It's been afterwards. Where all the hits are from Suzuki on down. Suzuki, Culberson, Inciarte, and Camargo. That's where all the damage has been tonight.
That's a sign of a good team. I mean, yeah, your star players, they're going to get their hits over the course of the season. They're going to hit for a high average. But this team only has 2 hitters hitting over 270. Markakis and Freeman. Just off the plate for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Swanson.
So when the guys at the top of the lineup aren't getting it done, you've got the rest of the lineup to help you out. That's why the Braves might go out and do something. They are missing Acuna, their everyday left fielder, and the reports are he's going to be coming back soon.
I spoke to the manager Brian Snitker about Acuna, and he's probably within 10 days of returning. Snitker told me that he needs to play some games in a rehab situation. He's down in the minor leagues now in their spring training camp. He's working out with their extended spring team.
Did you happen to see the play where he got hurt? That was scary. I thought he might have hurt himself where he'd be out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, he had a infield situation where he was hustling down the line, stepped on the bag in an awkward fashion. It looked like the Bryce Harper injury. It looked like the Manny Machado injury from a few years ago, and it looked like he could have possibly broken his leg or torn up his knee, but he walked off the field under his own power. So that's good news. Culberson's been a very capable fill-in. Fly ball down the right side, slicing away from Grichuk, and that will be into the seats, out of play.
Trying to sell
the
it.
Catch. Top of the 6th inning, 8-4 Atlanta. Blue Jays have won 7 straight home games. Brandon McCarthy, the veteran pitcher, has pitched okay for the Braves, as their pitching has really carried them recently. Their starting pitching especially.
They're young kids. Fultonavich, who we thought we might see in this series at one point, but they went ahead and just put him on the disabled list, and they're going to give him 10 days to recuperate from a triceps injury.
Bouncing ball out in front of home. Biagini takes his time, and Swanson's retired. Let's check in again with Jamie Campbell. Well, the Yankees, they have a potent lineup. You talk about balance in the Braves lineup. The Yankees have equal balance in their lineup, and they've got powerful hitters up and down the order. This is Freddie Freeman, who's been shut out so far tonight, and he drills this ball to center, and this has got a chance. Pilar coming over, makes a nice swinging catch, and then he dropped it. Freeman is headed around second. He's going to third. Solarte's relay not in time. It looked like Pilar had it safely in his glove, and then it ended up coming out of his glove.
He had to go a long way to get that ball. He was shading Freeman towards left center field. That's where Freddie's power is. You can see him over on the other side of the bag, so he's got a long way to go. It looks like he's there, and he can't close the glove. He's tracking, it's in, and then dropped. Can't close the glove long enough.
Boy, that is safely in his glove, and then just came out of the webbing.
Just can't squeeze it.
It has scored a triple for Freddie Freeman. His second triple of the season. Comes with one out, and the infield comes in now. Nick Markakis, the hitter. First pitch curveball gets away from Bailey, but not far enough for Freeman to take a chance. Well, Kevin did a heck of a job of tracking that ball down and had it firmly in his glove, and you don't see that happen very often where it comes out of the webbing. The gloves are made to secure that ball once they're in there, but it looked like the momentum of when he took his stride and the ball just came out of the end of his glove.
And you got to be able to reach in and take that ball out to secure the catch. Yeah, unfortunately, he could not. Now the infield has to come in. And this is where Markakis really gets tough. He's driven in 44 runs already this season.
Well, you know, veteran hitters know that the pitcher's in a jam. They're not in a jam. Markakis this season, 263 with runners in scoring position. The infield drawn in just on the edge of the grass.
He has that ability, being a veteran, to slow the heart rate down just a little bit. Slow the game down. Make that pitcher come to him.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-2 now.
He's also hitting .281 with 2 strikes. That is the 4th best average in Major League Baseball with 2 strikes. .281. The Major League average is .169. So watch him cut his swing down. Blue Jays need a strikeout.
There's a good example of spoiling a borderline pitch. Got his swing down, just took a check swing and fouled it off.
He was sitting on a breaking ball.
He's always been a thorn in the Blue Jays' side. He's hit over 300 for his career. He spent most of his career with the Baltimore Orioles. Good job by Bailey. We had talked about it with the Oakland A's when they were in town, and Ray Fosse, their great Cutler analyst, a terrific Major League catcher, said he believes catchers should be given a stat for balls blocked in the dirt that save runs. This is one right here.
What makes that one so difficult, it's a curveball, and when it bounces off the dirt, it's liable to bounce anywhere. That reverse spin when it's rotating and it hits the dirt. Good job by Bailey to keep it in front of him.
2-2 pitch. Bouncing ball, and Freeman's got a hold at third. Markakis grounds out. Good job by Biagini.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
Good pitch by Biagini to get Markakis to ground out to third base. Trying to strand this base runner at third. Blue Jays scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th to make it an 8-4 game. I want to give up this run with 2 outs. Tyler Flowers, the catcher. Two balls and no strikes. Mike Soroka started for Atlanta. He goes 4 2/3 innings. Did not qualify for a decision here. Not for a win for sure. It is 8-4. Flowers went too far.
That's the hard cutter. Cutter, curveball, I think, are the two pitches that he has to get over for strikes. Make quality pitches with it. This is his best role right here. Long man, give me a couple of innings. Give my offense a chance to come back into this ball game. But you got to throw up some zeros.
Good sinking fastball fouled off Flowers. Looked like he hit him on the knee. You can take some time to regroup a bit. Luke Maile taking his time and gives Flowers an opportunity to regroup. Actually hit him off the foot.
The back foot. Shows you what type of sinker that was. When a right-handed batter fouls it off of his back foot.
Ground ball hit hard, but right to the shortstop, Diaz. Nice job by Biagini. Gives up a one-out triple, but leaves the base runner at third. It's still an 8-4 Braves lead. Jay's Facebook page. It will be available as usual on Sportsnet Radio. Beautiful sky with the sun setting. It's been a beautiful evening here. Look at those spectacular colors. Good crowd on hand. It's supposed to be another fine crowd tomorrow for an afternoon game. It all starts at 12:30. Here's Luke Maile. Luke had an RBI single in the fourth. His 17th RBI of the season. Peter Moylan. Moylan got out of the fifth inning. Came on to get Diaz to ground out to end the inning.
Braves are carrying 8 relievers. You don't see that a lot from a National League team. Usually like to carry an extra bench player.
Slider foul back.
With all the changes that you have to make. Pinch hitting for the pitcher or double switches. So they are armed if they need be to get through this game.
One and two to Maile. Boy, he gets jammed on that one. Inside pitch. Freeman steps on the bag, one away. Quick timeout now for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. In theaters this Friday.
Freddie Freeman took that slow grounder and stepped on the bag to retire Melee, one away. Devin Travis. He was robbed of a base hit on a fine defensive play by the second baseman, Ozzie Albies. A grounder on the shortstop side of second. Albies with a terrific arm made a nice play.
Former shortstop showing off his arm. They play these right-handed batters to pull at shortstop. And that gives Albies a lot of room to work with in the center of the diamond. He can range as far as he wants to his right because Swanson, the shortstop, is really pulled over into the hole. Look at all the room that Albies has freely to go after all those ground balls.
That's off the end of the bat. Moylan will underhand to first base, and Travis is retired, 2 away. 20-year-old Mike Soroka from Calgary, Alberta, made the start here tonight. He pitched 4 2/3 through 77 pitches, gave up 8 hits. 6 of those 8 hits were doubles, 4 earned runs, but he could not get out of the 5th inning, so he did not qualify for the win. Atlanta has an 8-4 lead. And Brian Snitker will make a pitching change. Peter Moreland is out of the game. He goes an inning, retires all 3. And we'll have a pitching change here. Sam Freeman coming in for Atlanta. Into the ball game in relief of Peter Moylan. Moylan goes an inning, retired all 3 batters he faced. It'll be the 35th game of the season for the lefty.
Just a 204 batting average against Sam Freeman. The veteran has been around for a while. He came up in the Cardinals organization. He's pitched for the Rangers and the Brewers and now the Braves the last couple of seasons. Fastball, sinker, slider type of pitcher.
Curtis Granderson makes the first pitch breaking ball for a strike. Curtis doubled in his first at bat. He was stranded at third base in the first inning.
I think they were trying to force John Gibbons into making a move here, bringing in the left-hander to face Granderson, and he wasn't going to have anything to do with it.
No, but 2 outs and nobody on. Maybe he's got to save his bench for a more promising situation. We're in the 6th inning. Andres Morales has really been swinging the bat well lately. He's available along with Urshela Gurriel, who's just been called up, and Russ Martin. So Freeman comes in and makes quick work of Granderson. So we will go to the 7th. Atlanta with a 4-run lead.
on Monday, July 2nd, when the Blue Jays continue their series with the Detroit Tigers at 1:07 p.m. Eastern. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
New pitcher for the Blue Jays, Preston Guillemette, who is just with the ball club. You can see his numbers. This is his 4th game overall for the season, his 2nd as a member of the Blue Jays.
Pretty good his first one for Guillemette. Fastball, a nice splitter. Slider and a changeup. He has been around. He started his career with the Indians. And the right-hander will get his 2nd chance to work with the Blue Jays.
Was claimed off waivers on the 9th of June. He made his debut on the 11th at Tampa Bay. Had a scoreless inning of work, his first scoreless outing since 2015. Kurt Suzuki's had a good night at the plate. He is 2 for 3. He lined out his other time up. He has scored a pair of runs. He has a double and a single. Pretty good looking pitch. He didn't get to call. It's 2-0.
Blue Jays looking for a little bit of depth. Claimed him from the Cardinals about 10 days ago.
Popped up behind home plate. Bailey's got room. He's there and he makes the catch. Suzuki is retired.
He's got a funky little pitch that, you know, it looks like a curveball. I said to him, wow, that's a really good curveball. He goes, thanks, but I don't throw curveball. Watch it. Boom. Got some spin to it, some break. Popped him up. It's got some movement to it. Looks like a hard slider.
Yeah. You can see that red dot on the back of the baseball. And that's what pitchers are looking for, a tight spinning breaking ball, and that's it again.
It's a lot of movement. That's what you're trying to get, I think. That movement where they top it or get underneath it.
One hopper to Solarte at third base as Culverson's retired. Solarte's done a nice job at third base. This is his 37th start at third base. He's committed just 1 error. He moves around very well at third.
Yeah. He doesn't have to cover a lot of ground. He's got soft enough hands to make the plays and a strong arm. He made a play the other day against Washington, a very fast runner, Trey Turner, where he threw the ball all the way across the diamond from right around the third base bag off of one knee to get the out. Very impressive play.
Ender Inciarte. He's been on base all 3 times he's come to the plate.
He's talking to somebody in the Atlanta Braves dugout. I'm not sure who it is, but he's telling them, this is where I'm going to play. Watch me make the play.
Inciarte fouls it off. It's 0-2. Solarte, of course, has spent a lot of time in the National League with the Padres.
Those two having a discussion while he's out there. Tell you what, he comes to play every day and loves to play the game.
Guillemette gets a nice slider to Inciarte. 3 up, 3 down. Good job by Guillemette. Blue Jays need a rally here in the 7th. form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Big swing of the bat early in the ball game off the bat of Johan Camargo. His first career grand slam home run that came in the second inning. Atlanta jumped out to a 4-0 lead. They have a 8-4 lead now as Justin Smoke will lead things off for the Jays here in the seventh. Sam Freeman came on with 2 outs and nobody on. He struck out Curtis Granderson to end the bottom of the sixth. Two balls and no strikes. Smoke is 2 for 3. He doubled in the third and singled and scored in the fifth. High drive to center field, but that's going to hang up for Inciarte. He makes the catch well in front of the warning track, 1 away.
This is the part of the ball game where teams lately have been bringing in left-handers to turn the Blue Jays switch hitters around. For a while there, John Gibbons was hitting Smoke, Solarte, Morales, all switch hitters, 2, 3, 4. Teams have been bringing in lefties to switch them around. He's now plugged in Hernandez in between Smoke and Solarte just to make things a little bit tougher on the opponent.
Teoscar doubled in the fifth. He's 1 for 3. This double was his 17th double of the season. His 60th hit for the year.
His home runs mean something when they hit him. 12 of them. 4 times his home runs have given the Blue Jays lead. That's tough to do. Coming up big late in the game.
Teoscar has 34 extra base hits. 34 of his 60 hits have gone for extra bases. Turned that ball over and threw it down and away. Freeman's got a big arm. You saw the fastball earlier in this at bat, hit 97 miles an hour. Bounced in the dirt.
Another changeup. Really slowed his arm down on that one and showed Teoscar that pitch early. If you're going to throw a changeup, you want to have the same type of arm speed.
Hard hit to the shortstop. Nice play by Swanson, and Hernandez is retired. 2 outs.
Beauty Tone is the official paint of the Toronto Blue Jays. Only available at Home Hardware. Here's how.
Beautiful shot of Toronto from Center Island. Coming across back toward the downtown area. CN Tower standing tall above the Rogers Center. Beautiful evening. This is like a San Diego evening tonight. Nice and cool. No humidity.
Yeah, but warm enough to get loose and stay loose if you're playing baseball. Solarte knew and knows all about those San Diego evenings. He came over from the Padres.
Well, that's a good changeup with a lot of late movement down and away. Solarte had a 2-run double in the fifth. Mike Winters down at first base calls Solarte for the swing, and he didn't agree with it. But you got one left.
Yeah. He's saying, okay, all right, I'll give you that one. He doubled last time up, drove in a couple of runs. Team leading 43 ribbies.
He gets jammed and fights it off to stay alive.
They're having fun.
He's talking to himself, isn't he? Get it ready now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss as Freeman has been impressive. He retires all 4 batters he's faced with a couple of strikeouts. We'll go to the 8th.
After 2 very quick outs in the 2nd inning, there was a double, a couple of walks, setting the stages for Johan Camargo, who does this. Empties the bases with a grand slam home run. Ozzie Albies has 2 grand slams. That's Camargo's first grand slam. It's also tonight's drive of the game. That gave him a 4-0 lead in the 2nd inning. They have doubled that and lead at 8-4 in the 8th.
And Camargo, a 5 RBI night, a perfect 3 for 3. His grand slam in the 2nd inning really set the tone for the Braves offensively.
It looked like Jaime Garcia was going to cruise right through that inning.
There's another hit for Camargo. It's up against the wall. Grichuk plays it off the wall perfectly. Here's the throw to second, not in time. Camargo with a 4-hit game.
Couple of singles, the grand slam, and now a double. He's a youngster too. They tried Jose Bautista earlier this year. They said, you know what, Camargo has earned the right with his ability to do this, to play every day at third base. He's a switch hitter. He's had a big day.
His first 4-hit game of his career, a career-high 5 RBIs, and his first career grand slam. He's had a heck of a night, just 24 years old. Bottom of the order has done most of the damage for the Braves tonight. Charlie Culberson in the 7th spot, homered. Inciarte has 2 hits and a 2-run double. And Camargo has 4 hits and 5 ribbies. That's going to drop for a base hit. Camargo off and running. He's going to score easily. Albies is headed for second. Here's the throw. It's not in time. Ozzie Albies, an RBI double. his first hit of the night.
It's going to be his 42nd RBI from the leadoff spot to go along with 16 home runs. Just gets enough of it right off the end of the bat and down the line for extra bases.
His 40th extra base hit of the season. He leads the National League in extra base hits. What a player. He turned 22 in January. Preston Gilman had a 1-2-3 7th inning, and he has given up back-to-back doubles here in the 8th. Dansby Swanson is 0 for 4. Bouncing ball up the middle. Travis with a nice grab. Strong throw in time. Good play by Travis to retire Swanson on the play. Albies moves from second to third.
Since he has been playing a little bit more consistently, his range at second base has been a lot better. He made a nice play in the Washington series going to his left. He backs off of second base, but then has to put on the brakes and go back over the middle to take away a hit from Swanson and then show off that arm. That's an accurate throw from deep.
Freddie Freeman facing a drawn-in infield. Gilman showing him that first pitch splitter looked like, and he fouled it off. There you see 3 defenders on the right side of second base. Albies with terrific speed at third.
Another off-speed pitch. Look at the hole that Freddie Freeman has to shoot for right there. If he hits a ground ball right at that second base umpire, he's going to have another multi-hit game and an RBI.
0-2. Another good pitch. Looked like that hard splitter. And he strikes out Freeman. 2 away.
That is a tough customer to strike out. He chokes up on the bat. There's a split with great movement on it. Big strikeout.
Nick Markakis is given the intentional pass, so they'll face the right-hander Tyler Flowers, the catcher. Markakis walked for a second time. Flowers is 0 for 3. First pitch strike.
He had splitter on his mind. He saw the at-bat to Freddie Freeman, so they snuck a fastball by him.
Just missed with the fastball. It's a ball and a strike on a Braves catcher. Be an afternoon game tomorrow. Jay Happ will start for the Blue Jays against Anibal Sanchez for the Braves. And splitter sailed up and in for a ball. It's 2 balls and a strike. Atlanta with 9 runs on 11 hits. Blue Jays 4 runs on 8 hits. Jays have committed the only error in the game. That was by the second baseman, Devin Travis, in the second.
Boy, tough pitch to take.
Gilman's been close, bottom of the strike, so made some good pitches. Came back with a good splitter there. Now it's a full count. There are 2 outs. The runner at first base, Markakis, will have a running start. Smoke backing up behind him. Albies at third will stay put.
Yeah, you throw it 3-1. You may as well throw it 3-2.
He did. Flowers fouled it off. That one stayed up a bit.
Yeah, and he saw that one a little bit better than the 3-1 pitch.
Ball 4. So Flowers draws the walk. Back-to-back walks now load the bases. Luke Maile is going to take a trip to the mound.
Changing things up maybe just a little bit here. Give us pitcher who has thrown a lot of pitches this inning a chance to catch his breath. He's up to 26. He takes charge back there. He knows what he's doing. Last time that he caught a couple of days ago, it did a really good job. A really good job with Marco.
Estrada had his best start of the season last time out. 2 outs for Kurt Suzuki. Bases are loaded, and he goes after that first pitch splitter. Suzuki, the DH tonight, is 2 for 4. He scored a couple of runs. Albies at third base, Markakis at second, and Flowers at first. Little looper in the right. That's going to hang up for Randall Grichuk. The Braves get a run in the top of the 8th. They have a 9-4 lead. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio.
On Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Hurry in to grab the Civic that matches your game.
Westjet Flight Deck, always a lot of action going on as fans out there having a good time tonight. A day game tomorrow, and then Blue Jays, as Jamie Campbell mentioned, will go on a West Coast road trip. They'll start in Anaheim and then swing down to Texas to play the Houston Astros.
Who are Astros hot. Oh, man, are they red hot.
They won 12 in a row. Got a walk-off win last night from Alex Bregman. Sam Freeman has got an inning and a third. He starts the 8th. Kevin Pillar is 1 for 3. Kevin's hit was a double, a leadoff double in the 4th inning. He came around to score on the Luke Maley RBI single. For Pillar, that's his 22nd double of the season.
You mentioned the Houston Astros, and they've won 12 in a row. They now have the most wins in the American League. 49 heading into tonight.
They have 29 road wins. They're 29-11 on the road.
Did they just finish a road trip, like a 10-game road trip, undefeated?
Undefeated. They brought it back home, and they won their first game at home. They have the most road wins in baseball. They won 29 of their 40 games they've played away from Minute Maid Park.
Tied with the Boston Red Sox as Pillar takes that inside pitch for strike. Boston Red Sox for the most wins in the American League.
Pillar is called out on strikes, takes that fastball. So Freeman with 3 strikeouts now. Has pitched an inning and 2/3. He's retired all 5 batters he's faced.
How about the job of the bullpen of the Atlanta Braves? That's not really their strong point. They came into this game with an ERA over 4. Their bullpen, and they've retired every batter that they have faced.
Yeah, it's an area of concern for Atlanta. They're 9th in relief ERA, 6th in hits per 9 innings allowed. And Grichuk swings and misses that 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Randall's the last Blue Jay to reach base. That was a walk back in the 5th inning.
Brian Snitker, the manager of the Braves, and Grichuk late again. Another good fastball. Freeman's been impressive. Peter Moreland retired all 3 batters he faced with 3 ground ball outs. Grichuk goes after that high heater and fouls it off. Yesterday, the Kansas City Royals traded Kelvin Herrera to the Washington Nationals, and I think that's the beginning of some very heated action before the trade deadline. I know we're ways away from it yet, but there are a lot of teams in contention and a lot of teams in need.
3 prospects they got for him, and he's in the game tonight. Washington just took the lead back from the Orioles, and he's in the game.
Changeup, and Grichuk strikes out. There's the throw to first to complete the strikeout. That's 4 strikeouts now for Freeman.
I agree with you. You're going to start to see, and it starts with the relievers. That's how teams that feel like they can win it are fortifying the back end of those ball games with the bullpen.
Well, the relievers at this point aren't going to command the high price that a starter might. So you talk about starting pitching, and it's going to take a while to negotiate, but the Blue Jays front office, they've received some inquiries about some of the players and how available they might be. I think the Blue Jays will listen to anything. Freeman throws that changeup hard. It's 86 miles an hour and very good.
But it's still 10 miles per hour under the radar of his fastball. 10 miles per hour less.
That one bounced into dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Aledmys Diaz. He has gone 0 for 3. Blue Jays are going to have to come back with a big rally late in this ball game if they hope to keep their win streak alive here at home. They have won their last 7 home games. Good take. Mike Winter said, I got that one right.
That's great.
Thank you very much for the help. The take by Diaz is now a full count. Luke Maley is on deck.
That's the crew chief. He'll be behind the plate tomorrow afternoon.
Little pop-up into shallow right field. Mark Cake is coming on, makes a nice running catch. Sam Freeman, 2 1/3. Longest outing of the season for the lefty.
The first 20,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays bucket hat. Join us in the WestJet flight deck for live music and entertainment. Then sit back and watch your Blue Jays host the New York Yankees at 7:07 p.m. Eastern. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. To the 9th we go, back up to the booth and checking in once again with Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Hazel Day. A bucket hat. Now, I haven't seen one of those in a long time, but it'll be given away on July 6th. New pitcher for the Blue Jays is the lefty Aaron Loup. He's in to start the top of the ninth.
He's been pitching much better of late. He's only given up, he's been scored upon just one time in his last 6 appearances. He's dropped that ERA under 4 with no record. Loup's fastball, slider, changeup.
First pitch swinging is Charlie Culberson, and Pilar, he smothers it. Culberson is headed for second. Here's the throw to second, not in time. Kevin dove for it and did a good job of smothering that ball, but Culberson, as he always does, hustled out of the box and races into second base with his second hit of the night.
You want a definition of a baseball player? We're watching it right here at the plate. Pilar is shading him the other way. Bangs it up the middle. There's the aggressive play by Pilar. Now he figures out that he can't catch it, so you got to try and keep it in front of him, which he does. And Culberson saying, "Get down, ball." It gets down. He says, "You know what? I'm going to pick up an extra base." Hustles into second base with a double. Well, we've had our share of doubles tonight, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Teams? It's amazing that you see a player like Culberson, and it's so easy to play like that, but boy, it's impressive when you see it. Ender Inciarte, he's got one of those doubles. He's 2 for 3 with a walk. That's going to be another double. Culberson's around third. He's going to score. Inciarte's headed for second. Here's the throw. It's offline. Ender Inciarte with his 3rd hit of the night.
And his 3rd RBI. He had a double to drive in a couple of runs back in the 5th inning. You know, not every double is one of those ringing drives up the alley. Sometimes all it takes is an inside-out swing, and you just keep it fair down the opposite field.
11 doubles in this ball game. This double by Inciarte, the 5th for the Braves. The Blue Jays have 6 doubles. Culberson comes in to score. He has scored a pair of runs.
But the night belongs to this guy hitting right here, Camargo.
He's had a career night. He hit his first career Grand Slam home run in the 2nd. That started the scoring for Atlanta. He has had 4 hits for the first time in his career, and he's driven in a career high 5 runs. Down the right side, that's slicing foul. He is a triple shy of the cycle. And that would have been interesting had it been fair.
There's not a lot of room down each of these foul lines when you get down into that corner. So that didn't miss by much. Look at that. Just a couple of inches.
Ball on the strike to Camargo. Two and one now. Aaron Loop gave up a line drive double to Charlie Culberson, and then Inciarte inside out of a double down the left field line. Well, he covers that outside pitch and stays alive. Camargo began his professional career playing in the Dominican Summer League in 2012 as an 18-year-old. He had .343 in his first taste of professional baseball. Breaking ball, and Camargo strikes out. Now, we heard that foul ball that resulted in a cheer from the crowd, and we'll show you just why they were excited. Nice grab by that fan. Barehanded leaping grab. So he gets himself a souvenir and some high fives.
Yeah, he saves some fans behind him. What a heck of a catch. Blue Jays finally get Camargo out. You were just talking about all the doubles that both of these teams have hit. Well, that's something that the Braves have done, it seems like, all season long. Ozzie Albies and Freddie Freeman both reached doubles, 20 doubles for the season during their last series. They joined Nick Markakis, who has 20 doubles. No previous Braves team in the live ball era had 3 players reach 20 doubles before July. And there have been some great hitting Atlanta Braves team. The live ball era, I mean, you're talking the Hank Aaron's and the Eddie Matthews and Chipper Jones. They'd never done that before, and they're adding to it tonight.
Yeah, and they're all 3 very good hitters. They use the whole field. They hit the ball all over the ballpark. Albies has 22 doubles. Markakis has 21 doubles, and Freddie Freeman has 20 doubles. He went after that breaking ball, and he's called out on the swing. Now, Rob Drake had a few extra words for Albies as he said, I want to tell you just what he said there.
Yeah, Albies had something to say to him, so I just wanted to hear what he had to say.
He called out the manager, Brian Snitker. He said, I want you to know what I was reacting to. But whatever it was, Albies thought he checked his swing, and
Why don't you check?
He said something that got Drake's attention and then walked over to say, "What'd you say?" There's a liner. That's a fair ball. Swanson is headed for second as Inciarte comes in to score for Swanson. That's his first hit of the night.
And it's another double. 3 doubles this inning. The slider that he threw to Albies was a good one. It was a strike and then out of the strike zone. This one just stayed over the heart of the plate. Dansby Swanson smacks it down the left field line. He will pick up an RBI, his 26th of the season.
11-4 Atlanta. Freddie Freeman takes a strike. Freeman and Markakis, both left-handed hitters, but they hit third and fourth in the order because they hit lefties so well. Brian Snitker says these guys are good players. They're everyday players, so I'm going to leave them back-to-back. And he doesn't mind the fact that they'll bring lefties in to pitch to them.
Freeman coming into this game, 381 against left-handed pitching with 8 home runs. 8 of his 15 home runs have come against left-handed pitching. He stays on the ball. He uses the whole field. He doesn't try and pull the ball against left-handed pitching.
Markakis is hitting .343 against lefties. That goes all the way back to the backstop, and Swanson thought about it, but it bounced right back to Maile.
It's a play by the base runner at second base, Swanson. Normally you're taken off, but you got to run with your head up, and he sees that ball comes right back to Luke. He would have been out at third base.
1-2. Atlanta with 2 more runs here in the top of the ninth. Freeman and Luke have a bit of a history.
Yes, they do. He got off to an MVP type of beginning to his season last year, Freddie Freeman. Blue Jays were visiting first part of May down in Atlanta, and Loopy fastball got away from him, hit him in the hand. He was out about 6 or 7 weeks with a broken hand.
This time Loop strikes him out, but the Atlanta Braves scored 2 more runs on 3 doubles in the ninth to take a commanding 11-4 lead as we head to the bottom of the ninth. This game will be available on Facebook. The game is part of a Major League Baseball's package of games sold to Facebook and will not be available on Sportsnet TV. You can find the game on the Blue Jays Facebook page. It will be available as usual on Sportsnet Radio. We are in the bottom of the ninth inning, and the Braves took a commanding lead in the second on a grand slam home run by Johan Tamargo. And now the third reliever of the night, Jesse Biddle, makes his 20th appearance of the season, and he'll face Luke Bailey to start the bottom of the ninth. Bailey had an RBI single in the fourth inning. He drove in the second Blue Jay run. That game with 2 outs.
He also picked up a clutch 2-out hit in the fourth inning. That cut the lead to 5-2. He will face another lefty. Biddle's a former first-round draft pick of the Philadelphia Phillies. Good fastball and that sweeping curveball that you just saw right there.
Biddle went from the Phillies to the Pirates in February of 2016, and then he was claimed off waivers by the Braves from Pittsburgh that same season. He's now 26 years old. Devin Travis waits on deck. Biddle with a good breaking ball strikes out Bailey. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osbeck. Thank you very much, Ivanka. That's all coming up right after this game, so make sure you stay tuned. Travis takes a first pitch curveball for a strike. Devin is 0 for 3. Little chopper, Biddle to the third base side. He makes a one-hop throw to Freddie Freeman, who handles it with no problem.
You know, the star of the game, I think, today has got to be the offense for the Atlanta Braves, but the honorable mention's got to be the bullpen. What a job they have done.
Moylan, Freeman, and now Jesse Biddle. Blue Jays haven't had a base runner since Mike Soroka walked Randall Grichuk with 2 outs in the fifth.
Moylan, Freeman, and now Biddle.
Henrys Morales pinch hitting for Curtis Granderson. Granderson finishes up 1 for 4 with a double in his first at bat. It's a heck of a breaking ball Biddle has.
It's his best pitch. A hard, sweeping breaking ball.
Morales swinging the bat much better. He's 4 for 12 on this homestand. Hits that ball right into the shift. Albies has it. And that's the ball game. Morales grounds out to end the game. The bullpen for the Braves. 4 1/3 of hitless relief. They shut down the Blue Jays totally. And what a night for Johan Camargo.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to give them the honorable mention. The hitting stars, I think, are the stars of this game. Camargo, the bottom of the lineup, he had a career night, but the bullpen honorable mention with the great job they did. They also picked up 5 strikeouts out of the bullpen. Blue Jays quick turnaround tomorrow to try and even this series.
Blue Jays have their 7-game home winning streak come to an end. Atlanta wins the opener 11-4. Jay Happ will go to the mound tomorrow. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a great night. Here's Sportsnet Central with Ken and Ivanka.